Warning, the following program is highly controversial and may be offensive to some selected people groups. Listener discretion is advised. And now, the Commander-in-Chief is back. Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups, the Oval Office of Gulf Coast Talk Radio.
Well, the Commander-in-Chief is actually at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, so I guess that makes me, what, the Vice President? No, maybe I'm Alex Haig. Remember that? I'm in charge here. That happened after the assassination attempt on President Reagan in 1981. Carl Gallups out of town at CPAC. He asked me, Mike Bates, to fill in for him on today's edition of Freedom Friday. So here we are, and joining us from Canada, we have Mike Shoesmith on the line. So Mike Shoesmith, welcome once again to Freedom Friday.
Hey, Mike Bates, what a great honor to speak to the great one there. Hey, Carl Gallups, well, sounds like he's having a great time over there. I guess it's down there for me. It would be up there for you, I guess.
Exactly, yes. He is getting a lot accomplished, too, it sounds like. We spoke at great length last night, and then we had a half hour that we just talked now. The great length last night went into a lot more detail than we were able to get into on the radio. But I'm very optimistic about this. You know, he went to CPAC not with the mission of just watching what was going on. He went with the mission of getting attention from people that can do something and try to expose the truth about Barack Obama and his eligibility. And he has made some progress.
Well, you know, the Bible says about these times, the days that we live in, that the people that know their God will be strong and do exploits, you know, not hide in the corner and cower in fear. But I suspect Mr. Gallups will be breaking news all day long when he gets back. But we've got breaking news out of Rome this week. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the Vatican has installed a new leader. And a couple of weeks ago, the listeners may remember that when the former Pope resigned, we had on the show Chris Putnam. Now, Chris Putnam, he was one of the authors of the book Petrus Romanus, The Last Pope. And Carl had him on in response to the resignation of the Pope. And he essentially said, the book essentially points out, it predicted 2 years ago that this Pope would resign, and it nailed down the date pretty accurately as well. And Chris went on to say that he went on to make a couple of predictions that the Pope that is going to be chosen, there were a couple of contenders that would fulfill the prophecy of Petrus Romanus being the name of the last Pope, the 112th Pope. But he said, it doesn't have to be an exact fulfillment. And I kind of wondered if the Vatican would know, because Malachi, the one who wrote these prophecies, he was one of them. So the Vatican would know about this prophecy. Would they not do everything they could to make sure that this heretical teaching not be fulfilled? And so many speculated that, including myself. How would this happen so openly? And so we all speculated as to how this would all go down. A lot of speculation going on around the world. And now we have a man. He's been this guy who would be called Pope Francis. Does he fit the bill? And the very day on Wednesday, WND, WorldNet Daily, they interviewed the authors of the book Petrus Romanus, and the authors came out and said that this was a stunning fulfillment of this prophecy, the last Pope prophecy, the Petrus Romanus prophecy. And people were scratching their heads thinking, well, how in the world is this a stunning fulfillment? His name is not Peter the Roman. He's from Argentina. His name is not Peter. How is this a fulfillment? And I thought to myself, I read the article, and they made an awesome case that this is a stunning fulfillment of the prophecy. But I didn't want to just take their word for it. I mean, I'm the executive director of PP Simmons. I'm the social networking for Carl Gallups Ministries. I am accountable to tens of thousands of people. I've got to research this for myself. And the authors of the book are right. This is literally an amazing fulfillment. Now, people say, let's start with where he's from, Argentina. Is he really from Argentina? It looks like they've done an end run of the prophecy fulfillment here. It may have been fulfilled even under the noses of the cardinals, and I'll get to that in a second. But really, this guy is actually from, he lived in Argentina, but his parents are both from Rome. He is a Roman, perhaps not by birth, but he is a Roman by blood. This man is a Roman. He's Italian.
Right. He was born in Buenos Aires, but he was born in Buenos Aires, but his parents are both full-blooded Italian.
They are Italians. And he's chosen the name of Francis. He's chosen the name of Francis, the namesake, Francis of Assisi, right?
Right. Francis
of Assisi was Italian. But not only that, now this gets deeper and deeper as we dig into this here. St. Francis of Assisi was born Francesco di Pietro di Bernardone. Now, what does Pietro mean in English? Peter. That's the name chosen by the new pope to be called Pope Francis I. Now, here's where it gets really deep here now. This is the very first Jesuit to be appointed as pope. And some have wondered, is he even eligible to be pope? Because part of the oath, the Jesuit oath, is they swear allegiance to the pope. So, I mean, this guy is a Jesuit, the first Jesuit pope. He has sworn allegiance to the pope. So who is his allegiance to now? Even more strange is that is the connection between Barack Obama and the Jesuits. If you do a Google search on Obama Jesuit connection, this goes back to, people have discovered this connection as far back as when he first came on the scene in 2008, that he is surrounded by Jesuits. Now, this, as we move forward in this topic, this will become more and more surreal as we talk about this. In fact, some have made the connection that Joe Biden himself is a trained Jesuit. Now, the Jesuit connection is important here because it lends credence to the claims of Chris Putnam and the book Petrus Romanus, in that they claim that this final pope, the 112th pope, will be the false prophet of the book of Revelation. Now, this is where the connection becomes important. Barack Obama, if you guys, if the listening audience will do a search on the Obama Jesuit connection, these are not results in obscurity. There are many people, experts in this field, who have made the connection between Barack Obama, his handlers, the people who are closest to him, and the Jesuits. Okay? Now, here's another connection to the name of Peter. This is an interview done with Cardinal Barberin. He is the Archbishop of Lyon, France. And the video is up here. I've seen the video. I've heard him say these words. This is what he said. He said, this is a man so strong that he deserves the name of Peter. And Fox News on Wednesday, now this is one of the cardinals who elected him as pope, said that this new pope, deserves the name of Peter. This is Peter the Roman. This is Petrus Romanus, folks. This prophecy has been fulfilled. And even Fox News on Wednesday said that this man will take the name of Francis. He will also be known as Peter. This prophecy has been fulfilled. Now, are we looking at the false prophet here? Are we talking about the actual fulfillment of the Book of Revelation's false prophet connection to Antichrist Obama? Well, I've dug up some stuff on this, on the connection between this Pope, the false prophet, the Antichrist, and Obama, that I think the listeners will be very interested in hearing. And I don't know, perhaps we should tackle that in the after the break. What do you think?